Ozai. I'm the Executive Director for Sahar Education. Thank you so much to everybody for being with us this evening. For some of you, including our colleagues on the ground, Maryam and Sayeed, I know it's early morning for you both, so thank you everyone for taking the time to come here tonight and join us. International Women's Day has been celebrated widely in Afghanistan, and there have been different conferences organized prior to the Taliban takeover, different activities that women themselves took the lead in organizing. Unfortunately, since the Taliban takeover, that has changed, and Afghan women do not get a chance to celebrate their own achievements inside the country, and there is no recognition of this important day for Afghan women. So we wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge the resilience of Afghan women and to celebrate the courage that they have shown over years to not only stand up for themselves, but also their fellow women, and who continue to fight under the repressive regime of the Taliban de facto government, including our very own Maryam, who does work in Kabul and is doing amazing work for other women and girls in Afghanistan. So thank you for being here for the girls and women of Afghanistan this evening. Women in the past 20 years before the Taliban takeover had significant achievements in different fields, but unfortunately, after the Taliban takeover, since August of 2021, the Taliban have issued over 80 decrees, 54 of them specifically targeting women and women's human rights in Afghanistan, including their basic right to education, their right to employment, travel, movement, and their dignity to a free and discrimination-free life in Afghanistan, unfortunately. This diagram is from a report in UN Women, and it shows the freedom of movement that women had before the Taliban takeover, before August of 2021. Women were everywhere. They could travel abroad, go to bazaars, go to work in different sectors. They could get education, go to hospitals, work at hospitals, and of course, exist in their home as well. Unfortunately, after August of 2021, women are not allowed to go travel. They can't be seen in bazaars as much as they were in the past. But currently, with the fear of being arrested, women even avoid going for grocery shoppings because they're afraid, what if they're being detained or kidnapped on the streets as well? So that's what it looks like for women right now. And the fear is that where is the future going to take Afghan women? Are they going to be banned totally from the very few spaces that are still allowed? And that would really depend on us, all of us, the international community, on how they side with Afghan women and advocate for them, because unfortunately, women in Afghanistan themselves don't have that opportunity anymore. Even if they do, it's very restricted, and they have been continuing the fight, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. The impact of the bans on women have been cruel, of course. It's beyond imagination, and from the reports that I was able to collect, Afghanistan ranks as the worst of 117 countries in terms of the status of women, according to the Women, Peace, and Security Index, unfortunately. Of course, mental health crisis is on its rise in Afghanistan, and since the Taliban takeover, according to a report in CNN, there has been a 50% raise in suicide attempts among young girls and women. Washington Post reported that 118 girls were sold as child brides, and 116 families are still awaiting buyers in Herat province. Again, child marriages has been a phenomenon in Afghanistan for a very long time now, and there were a lot of organized campaigns against it before the Taliban takeover. Unfortunately, after the Taliban takeover, since women and girls are banned from all these spaces, they're banned from getting an education, from working. So one of the only options that families have is to sell their daughters and sustain their families. Sam, I do see your hands up. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah, is that okay? Can I
Yes,
ask?
go ahead. Sure.
What is the difference between saying selling a child as a child bride and just human trafficking. Like why is it said like that as opposed to human trafficking? Like when they report it.
Yeah, that's a good question, Sam. I would say because the families themselves are involved in selling these girls, and the only reason that they're sold is because they believe, or the families believe, that it's okay for women to get married at a young age. So it's the whole marriage part of it that differentiates it from human trafficking. But I would agree that selling girls as child brides what qualifies human trafficking, but they don't report it that way because it's marriage.
In my opinion, it's a subset of human trafficking. It's just a specific type of human trafficking, right? Because
Yeah.
your family is trafficking you to a specific individual. They're not, selling them to multiple individuals. They're getting one large lump sum and then giving that daughter, as young as like 9 years old to whatever middle-aged man has paid for her.
Right.
And then she's no longer their responsibility.
Right. But again, in Afghanistan, they wouldn't define it as human trafficking because
Yes.
it's marriage to them and not trafficking a child.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know like when like I read like reports in like the US and like when this happens in the US, they do refer it to as like human trafficking.
Right.
Um and underage marriages also happen here.
Right.
Um so I guess I just don't often hear child bride in America, but I do hear more so like and sorry, I hear like more like prostitution or prostituting or human trafficking.
Right.
Um, and then, they make it sound like child brides in America is like a unique phenomenon. But I don't really know the statistics of it. It's probably, I don't really know.
Right. Now, I understand. Yeah. But again, child marriages have been allowed in Afghanistan even prior to the Taliban, if not by the law, at least by the traditional norms that exist in different parts of the country. So they don't see it as trafficking, although I would say it qualifies as human trafficking.
All right. Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Representatives of the UN have called it a gender apartheid, but it still hasn't been officially labeled as gender apartheid in different reports, and it hasn't been officially acknowledged as gender apartheid in Afghanistan, unfortunately. And currently, women's rights activists from Afghanistan and in the diaspora are trying to really push for that. They're advocating for it being called gender apartheid. And also under the Taliban, Afghanistan remains the most repressive country for women in the world, according to the UN Secretary General. And the ban on women's employment has costed women 60,000 jobs in Afghanistan. And these jobs are not only office jobs, but also businesses that women owned. And most of these women are the sole earners of their families because they have lost their family members in war, or they just don't have a male to support them. So that losing those many jobs for women, some of whom are their sole provider for their family, is contributing to the economic crisis that's going on in Afghanistan right now. How have Afghan women been responding to this situation? Like I said at the beginning, Afghan women have shown tremendous courage and resilience in fighting back these repressive rules that are being imposed on them by the Taliban, and that are unfortunately exacerbating by day. Afghan women have continued to form new civil society groups, and they have been starting their own businesses where they are really just employing other women. Some of these businesses are hidden from the eyes of the Taliban. Others have been working to find ways to continue these businesses, even from homes, just so they can provide that opportunity for other women to continue working. Nafas Gul Jami is one of the women who has started a factory of processing food and dry fruits, just to allow other women to work with her and have an earning. Like I said earlier, women had started a wide range of protests all over the country, and their main slogan was bread, work, freedom. A lot of these women activists were arrested by the Taliban. They were tortured. So they slowly had to move because the Taliban were not allowing them to physically advocate for themselves. They have now switched to virtual advocacy and to different online platforms where they are still advocating for women's rights and fighting back the restrictions that the Taliban are imposing on them. And there are so many Afghan women, especially those who had graduated from universities, who have now started their home-based classes just so they can educate girls who are banned from secondary education. So women in Afghanistan are trying to use every means that they have accessible to them to fight back the repressive Taliban rules in Afghanistan. We get asked a lot how we can help. This is a question that Shagufa and I and Ali get a lot, even on our social media, sometimes when we speak at different events. And my first suggestion is stay informed about the challenges that women are facing in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, there are so many different narratives when it comes to women's situation in Afghanistan, especially with Western travelers going to Afghanistan, some of them portraying things as if everything's going really great. But for those of our family members and those of us working in Afghanistan, we do know that's not true. So really staying informed and aware of the situation and challenging the pro-Taliban narratives, amplifying the voices of Afghan women who continue to fight from inside Afghanistan, risking their lives and their safety, speaking up about the situation that Afghan women are going through, supporting different causes and organizations that support Afghan women and girls is another way to support their fight, and demanding immediate attention by calling your representatives, by calling your Senate members, and really by pressuring the international community to stand up with the girls and women of Afghanistan. So everything that I just went over, here's a brief diagram of it, and I would be happy to take any questions if there are any at this point. Sam, I see you have your hand up again.
I think I just have a hard time like doing the right thing because I don't, besides Women for Afghan Women, I really don't know, in America at least, like what other organizations do the work. I'm kind of really like ignorant about that. And I don't know, like in terms of like how to stay on top of all these things.
And I would say there are some good people doing the work who post on social media. You kind of have to look for them, but
Yeah.
if you want to go to Sahar's social media, we do follow a lot of them. And so if you look at our list of who we follow, you will see a lot of good examples of people who are doing the work.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
I'll hand it over to Shagufa to present on the programs that we currently offer at Sahar, and then we have our on-the-ground colleagues who can take your questions and really have that more organic conversation of how the programs are going and what exactly we are doing.
Imagine just if we, for a minute, if you put ourselves in that situation, how it feels to live in that situation, that everything is taken away from you as a human being and just your breathing, but no right to live. From clothing to work to education, everything. It's really, we can see on the report, but it's really depressing how women are living in that situation mostly last 3 years now. So I will give some good news about our workshop that we're doing and the work we're doing in Afghanistan on the ground. We start our work all over again. So we did not give up on girls' education. We tried to see what are the opportunities that we can provide and support girls in Afghanistan, especially the area of Mazar-e-Sharif and Kabul. We are right now working actively with grassroots, like 3 grassroots organizations. And because of the security reason, we are not naming a specific name of the school, a specific name of the organization. So Sultan Sisters is in Mazar-e-Sharif. It's a private school that we have been working last almost 3 years with them. And Underground Tech Heroes is our underground schooling. Basically, we're homeschooling girls with the technology and computer and coding with them. And Traits of Hope is in Kabul, located in Kabul. This group of students are women above age of 25. Women are never been to school, and we have literacy program and sewing classes with them. And Men as a Partner in Change, which is such important to work with the men in such a situation. We had this program before the fall of Taliban, and then we're very hesitant to start back because what's going on in Afghanistan, is it right time to bring the men in our program, especially young boys? But luckily, we had amazing team on the ground that they will help us to start this program once again. So Sultan Sisters is, like I said, it's located in Mazar Sharif. At the timeline we started with them is from 2022 till now. 60 students has graduated, 20 students are currently enrolled. The good thing about this private school is like they have the facility, they have the space, computer classes at a very advanced level. So we were able to work with them. So we are recruiting students from public school, especially for students that they cannot go to school like after 6th grade, like from 10th grade to 12th grade. So we're recruiting students, and then they were providing transportations and security. They pick up students from the home and then drop them back after the program ends. The classes we have with them, computer program, which is include Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Internet, and English language, reading and writing and speaking. And beside this, we are also have women empowerment. It's basically, we have leadership, conflict resolution, mental health, and health workshop, which includes menstruation hygiene, health reproductive. These programs are very, very important. And our students, especially the young girls, are very interested to learning. And they're requesting more program about how can we build as our confidence as a woman, our career as a woman. Please teach us, because I see such a potential for these young women. They're so eager and hungry for education. And that's why the work we do is such important, even with 20 students, and we graduated 60 students. All these students are like now, they learn something. We gave them some hope for the future. They do group work together, and also there's some opportunities. They bring guest speaker either by invite them via Zoom or in person, because especially in a part like health workshop, where we need mostly menstruation hygiene, health reproductive, mental health. We need some experts to come and talk with the girls. And they were very, very interested asking questions, especially now that women are not allowed to go and doctor without the male guardian. So they have so many questions and so many curiosity to learn about health, about mental health. So this one thing I want to emphasize about this program is that like this is not only the classes, this is the opportunity that they are getting out of home, and there is a space that they can come and see other girls and share their experience. There are some pictures that, because of the security reason, we blur their faces. This is a short video. One of our students from Sultan Sister program, she is talking from graduation. She's talking in English, so I'm going to play that.
The lucky players who got the chance to participate in such a great program. My life has been changed since I enrolled to this program, which will help me to be a successful and independent Afghan girl in the future. Before coming to this training, I had very low self-confidence, and the current situation had very bad effects on my mental health. I was exhausted of the current situation, and it is still not obvious whether Beijing decided to open schools or not. As well as I learned about my rights, values. Now I can stand for my rights and don't blame others for my mistakes. Today I am happy that I have completed the 6 months training successfully and gained my certificate. I am going to leave this school with lots of knowledge and beautiful memories. This training is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Other program, Underground Tech Heroes, we call them, and this is underground school. They are based on home without Taliban knowing. We cannot reveal the locations, the name of the organization, security reason. This school has been a great opportunity for girls. They are interested in coding, IT, computer. We graduated 90 students, 180 students last year, and recruited 90 students this year. And it has been amazing to working with these young people. And the computer you see in the classes we provided for them, and they learn in this class computer, coding, IT, website designing, and also we have similar same workshop, health workshop on women empowerment. And these girls, like, they are very resilient and very strong. And despite all this difficulty and challenges and the risk they are taking, they come and they want to learn and they take this opportunity. What is the impact and long-term of our programs that we're doing? The long-term goal, our long-term goal is that this class is providing opportunity for them to find a job. One of our 10 of our students who graduated from coding and IT classes, they are enrolled in Southern California University and online classes. And some of our students are already starting some homeschooling at home when they graduated. So that's one of our mission as Sahar, is that how can we make our work more organic and more sustainable once the girls graduated from the school, and they can do something back in their community. So that's they learn in our women empowerment, that like how can they give back to their community, like be empowered, not to feel, even it's very tough situation, not to be hopeless. They're trying to find a hope and light in darkness. This is the one of our students' code, so I'm gonna let a few seconds for you guys to read it. Some pictures that you can see, and still the pictures are blurred. I wish that you could see their faces, because sometimes the expression tells a lot. Some of them are very curious, happy, and they were very interested to learning and the expression, but unfortunately we had to blur their faces. This one of the pictures from our second round, the students are graduated, and they were so happy that they got the certificate from this workshop. And this means something to them, because once they graduate, they will get jobs, or they will get opportunity to work or enrolled in colleges, online colleges. And as a partner in Change, one of our very highlighted program that we're very excited to start again right after the Taliban. We are working closely with men and especially high schoolers from 10th grade to 12th grade. And it's such important to bring men in the conversation, as we're working to reducing the domestic violence, women's rights, gender equality. And it is important to bring men as well, like not to exclude them. Afghanistan is a war zone country. Not only women suffers, it's both men and women suffer what's happening in Afghanistan. Men also experience the mental health, men also experience the depression. So we have to give them the space that they can come and express their needs and express one of the most important thing that we're talking about in there is like honor, like redefining honor in Afghanistan, and also redefining masculinity, and what is their responsibility as a man at home, and what is their contribution. Believe it or not, it has been amazing that how this young men has been responding, and how they are like changing their way of thinking, and definitely changing behavior will take a time, like a year or 2 years to really measure that. But this is the impact that we're looking really on this, like raising awareness and bringing up this topic to really talk about it, how much it's important. And some of their young men's behavior has changed because some of students say like, well, no one ever asked us before, like we ever about the men's right, about the we really matter, you know. It's important that really talk to them and bring them in the conversation. Graduated 40 students in the first round, and we just started in the second 40 students. So these are the amazing students, and we started with this class, not only the workshop men as a partner change, we use the English classes as a tool to recruit them come to the workshop. They also have English classes, and then twice a week they will study men the workshop. There are some quotes from our students, so I will let you guys read it. So this is our last program, Traits of Hope. It's another, we had amazing experience with one of our partners in Kabul. Before the Taliban, we were only working in north part of Afghanistan and Mazar Sharif. So when we restarted, we're expanding our programs, like reaching out with other provinces. And Kabul is one of the, we start working with one of the organization, Traits of Hope. This program is like a literacy program, sewing classes, and also we implement our workshop as well with them. This program is the students age between above 25. This women never been to school before, and they were so much interest to learning skills like sewing classes. And we are almost at the end of our projects. It's very interesting that how this workshops creating opportunity for women like never been to school and learning reading and writing and coming to share their experience in the class, that how it feels to be like learning again. Women empowerment, leadership, they are amazing that the things they learn and go back, they discuss with their husband, like, oh, I learned about the leaderships. We teach them that building confidence in women, like don't think that if you don't have education, don't feel like you don't have a work as a woman, as a mother, you're a leader. So these giving them confidence really build up their self-esteem. Sewing classes, literacy classes, coming to workshop really give them a schedule and organizing their daily lives, and that's helping with their mental health, because this become their routine for them, doing homework, coming to the class, and they are like, they know what is like, they are not sitting at home and not doing anything. So this is creating some kind of a routine schedule. And also when the women who graduates from these programs, at the end of the program, we're giving them the machine, the sewing machine. So impact of this program is students learn how to make clothes, because in Afghanistan, it's not, you cannot go buy online shopping or like big malls. They make their own clothes. They're very, very creative on that. So this learning sewing classes creates the job, small businesses at home that they can bring income at home to support their family. And literacy class, they are improve their reading and writing skills, which is now I see like a lot of women are now, they can write their names and they are very familiar with the words. When they go outside, they can read the sign. When they go to doctor, they can see the sign that they were not before those students were participating in our class. There are some pictures that shows that their daily activity, they learn, they come when they come in the class. So yeah, so these were our programs that, like I said, despite of all the challenges that women are facing, but there is a hope, and that's we're working towards that. And this young generation that we're working with them, believe it or not, they're very, very passionate. They're very thirsty for education and thirsty for change. And I do work with them closely, and I see hope for the future if we do not give up on them. So that's why we're here to support. And now I would like to introduce you our partners on the ground that they are joining us this event.
Hello and good evening to all dear participants in International Women's Day virtual roundtable. I hope all is well and healthy. Thank you very much, Mr. John and Shugufa John, for your very comprehensive presentation about the very difficult situation of Afghanistan and what Sahar Education brings some changes and impacts on life of women in Afghanistan. And also thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about a Threads of Hope project. This is Maryam and Sayeed, Threads of Hope project manager. And first of all, very, very happy Women's International Day for all women around the world, and also especially to the women that they are in today's meeting, especially Mr. John, Shugufa John, and also Miss Ali. And today I'm really feeling very good that I'm talking among the people who are really committed for supporting women. We are celebrating 8 March in Afghanistan, where is such a restricted situation for women and girls, and women are even deprived from their basic rights, that is education or free movement in city or in the country. I'm a 21 years old girl who is the student of 3rd class of medical faculty in Kabul Medical University. But unfortunately, when Taliban came to Afghanistan, I deprived from the blessing of university, and I couldn't continue my education in university. For some times, I thought with myself that my wishes, all of them, they damaged and destroyed, and even I will never become able to serve people as a doctor. Education gave me this opportunity to work with them. Yeah, maybe now I cannot study in university and I cannot go ahead with education of my medical field, but right now I'm happy that I'm serving to the people. I'm serving to the women which they are deprived from the blessing of literacy. And I'm really happy for working to them. Yeah, that most of the time we cannot go ahead with our wishes just in one way, so we can change our way. My wish was to help to the woman and also see every woman dependent, confident, and educated, and I'm doing it right now. In these 4 months that I'm experiencing serving for facilitating the Threads of Hope project in such a good way for the participants, when I go for observation of their classes and I observe the created changes in their personality and life, for example, they look so happy from their classes, and also they became so confident in the first days of the project. They look more interested, they look hopeful, they look strong, they can see different races, they can read and write. And you know that it really made me very, very much happy. And their happiness and the changes that I see that I could bring it these 4 months, the participants' happiness from the classes and their hopefulness for their future made me more motivated to work energetic and never become tired from any existing challenges in our country, Afghanistan. Their outcome, their impact is for a long term. I see many donors which they are helping people just to change their life in a short term. But Sahar Education is doing the activities which the implementation of these activities can change and also impact on the life of the pupil for a long term. As we know that there is a quote that don't give to the pupil fish, learn them how to give fish. So if we just help them for a very short time, it will impact for a short time. But if we learn them how to change their life and also how to scale up their skills, so these things will change their life and also impact their life for a long term, and also will able them to change their life by themselves. In regards to the access needs of women, the Threads of Hope project was designed to deliver training services in the field of tailoring, literacy, and also health workshops, as well as women's rights awareness for duration of 6 months. Before the start of this project, the students were not able even to read or write. They were unfamiliar even with the alphabet letters and had no knowledge of numbers or basic arithmetic. Over the course of 4 months, up to now, we could bring significant changes into your life. Students now can read, they can write, they can identify alphabet letters, they can read and write simple sentences.
Thank you so much. Once again, hello everyone. First of all, I'm really happy for joining today's roundtable. And since it's 8 March here in Afghanistan, let me to say Happy Women's Day to all brave ladies who are here in today's roundtable, to all women around the globe, and to all brave women who fight for their rights despite all barriers that they are facing, in particular like Afghan women. This is Sayeed and has been working for Sahar since 2020. And the only reason that I am part of Sahar is to work for the better and equal society where both men and women can work together for the equal and welfare community. Since we are working with the boys that they are going to be the future fathers of their families. So if they learn these topics, so they're going to be able to allow their sons and daughters to educate, not force their sons to be responsible of supporting their family financially only, and their daughters to marry at the very early age. Importantly, both genders are educated and the rate of domestic violence is decreased. In addition, females can work outside, support their families, and can be part of the decision-making process as men. At the meantime, men can stay home and take care of their children. Parents share their responsibilities for a happy life. Since it's crystal clear in the current situation, of course, running such programs are very risky. And also talking about the topics that, they are super sensitive to Taliban's belief. But despite all barriers, we do our best to run the program and work with students. About the impacts, after successful completion of the first round of MPC, just like months ago, I just want to talk about some quotes that I have noted down while I was hearing from students. And we have noticed remarkable changes in students' behaviors and thoughts. One of students has said that before it was in his perception that only outside works belong to men, and now he realized that he was totally wrong. Family prosperity belongs to both men and women, and he takes part in chores now, manages his bed, and helps his mom in breakfast and dinner time, cuts the wood for his stove, and takes care of his small sister. Also, one of another students said during the sessions that they need to bring some adjustments to definition of masculinity and male honor in Afghanistan. He said that in his point of view, the real male honor is to support the women in the family and community, to pave a way for them to educate and work, not to ban them in home as our banned like a bird in a cage now, unfortunately. And there are super impacts and stories of students that we are hearing, and it gives us a very strong energy to work more with them. If there would be any questions, so I will be very happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions? I'm going to keep an eye on the chat box as well, just in case we get the questions there. A few questions that we have already been asked is if we accept volunteer work. We highly appreciate and encourage volunteer work, and we do have virtual volunteering opportunities depending on individual skill sets. And if you email Ali or myself, we can definitely explore that together.
My question that we often hear, and I actually did a panel where I spoke to some people, and I couldn't answer this because I'm not either of you. So they asked me, what is the most difficult topic to discuss with your students from the health or empowerment workshops? And what do you think makes it really hard to discuss? Is it something that it's hard for them to grasp, or is it something that is just really taboo that they never have learned in class?
Thank you so much. Well, of course, yeah, there are like some topics that sometimes it's a bit hard to speak about them and talk to them about students, because you know that the students that they're working with them, most of them they're from different backgrounds with different perspectives and with different ideas, and most of them have, you know, like unfortunately like traditional beliefs. The topics that sometimes, you know, like it's a bit challenging is you know, like gender stereotypes. When we talk about gender stereotypes, and especially there is a part which is bacha push. I don't know that if you have ever heard of this word or not. It's like that in some families of Afghanistan, that they don't have boys, so they make their girls to wear boys' clothes and work with them, go outside the home, and you know, whatever that the boys do, they do. And you know, it's a bit challenging for them, because sometimes, you know, like it's a taboo and they don't want to hear about this. And also the other topic is male honor, because you know, unfortunately there is a very wrong perception about male honor in Afghanistan. People say that the real male honor is when men, you know, like forbidding their daughters, forbidding their spouses not to go outside, and whatever they say, their daughters and their spouses should do that. This is what they have got from the male honor. But unfortunately, you know, that's something that they have got from the society. And there's something, you know, like an accepted, unfortunately, wrong norm that they accepted it, and there is no any logical reason for that. Even there is no any, you know, like religious reason for that, because you know, yeah, these are the topics that sometimes it's a bit hard to talk with them. And also the other part that sometimes it becomes a bit sensitive for students is we have got a session about like physical health, and in this session we talk about, you know, like how they can, you know, like use condoms, sensitive topics that students have never heard of it. And also in schools, unfortunately, nobody talks to them about these topics. Our society have never talked about these topics, neither in schools nor in universities, and even in families. So that's why I think it's very good, and it's really important to share such topics. And at the end of the program, of course, we hear about the students that they are very happy, and they really acknowledge the sessions, that they say that that's not our fault, because this is how we raised in our family, this is how we raised in the community, and nobody talked about these topics with us. So when we came here and we learned these things, and now we know that how it's important to know about these topics. And some of them are really interested to share these topics also with their friends and with their fellows in the family. And
Thank you so much for sharing that. It sounds like sex education would really be helpful for the students of Afghanistan. Maryam, what is your answer for the question?
I would like to share my experience with working with these women. You know that changing the thoughts and mindsets of someone who live with that thought and mindset for many years, it's so much difficult. First time that in the first month of the program, when we taught them about the women rights, and also that what's violence, what's conflict, and also conflict resolution, these two topics, and also the topics which Mr. Sayeed mentioned, that these topics were so much sensitive for these women, because they thought that we are stimulating them against their husband, and also against their family. You know that the people with their awareness is so low, and also they have just a very old mindset. So when we aware them about their rights, they will thought and think with themselves, which we are just stimulating them. But right now, which the program go ahead, and also the confidence created between the trainer or also between the participants. Right now, the participants know which this is our kindness that we are teaching them, we are training them about the rights, about to know the rights in the family, in the community. And right now they are so much happy. And also I would like to share about the health class taboos as well. Before the class, the students, they didn't know about that menstruation is not a shame. They thought that talking about menstruation is a shame, and even they did not share their ideas about menstruation in the class activities. They thought which the pregnancy is also a shame. We should not go to the doctor during the pregnancy, and getting or batting during menstruation is not good for their health. But right now, these students, they know which these thoughts, they just were a wrong thought and also incorrect thought. And right now, they know what is the correct mindset and also the correct awareness regarding these topics. They know about the pregnancy care, prenatal care, postnatal care. Menstruation is not a shame. Pregnancy is not a shame. We have to go to the doctor when we become pregnant. There's not a shame. And these are the changes and also the taboos which we covered them in the topics or the curriculums of Threads of Hope project. Thank you again.
Sam, we can take your question now. Sorry that you had to wait.
No, it's okay. I was just enjoying listening. I mean, I could if I could like just share something. Even in America, when I was like younger and I was taking classes, they didn't really talk about sex education so much. So this is like more advanced than like what we get in America, to be honest. Like we don't really talk about this stuff in classes. I remember in my own classes when they had to separate the girls and the boys when we were younger, and the girls would like get the, you know, the conversation about menstruation, and I don't know what the guys got, what kind of conversation they got, but you know, they do that here too. So I mean, it just sounds like it's a little bit more advanced than what we get in America in terms of like talking about like different genders and the roles and stuff like that and respect.
That's definitely true. I think that the program is meant to be more like comprehensive, you know, than like regular sex education in the US. But that's because a lot of the people in these programs, or most of the people, maybe even all of them, have zero exposure at all to the topics. So
yeah, and I would really want to acknowledge the expertise of our trainers here, because it's really hard to talk about these topics in the Afghan context where people won't feel offended or where people would feel comfortable to have these conversations in the first place. So Saeed and our trainer from our Threads of Hope program in general, our trainers are trying to tie back every single topic to let's say, teachings from the religion about that specific topic, or the culturally accepted connotations of the topic, just to make it relevant to the context of Afghanistan, and not to make it seem like an alien topic. Because one of the mistakes that have been made in the past in Afghanistan is that a lot of topics were approached in their Western context, and that's why there was a lot of pushback for them. So we have really worked with our partners to not only develop these curriculums, but also we continue to modify them as we go. We work with our on-the-ground partners to identify topics that are no longer safe to discuss in the classroom. We modify those in ways that would make it easier for our trainers and students to comprehend it. Sam, do you have another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm the one with the question.
No, we love questions.
Is it controversial to talk about like the great men and women of Afghanistan's past?
No, it's not controversial. Again, with the current context, I think it's better if Maryam and Saeed answer this question, because I have been out of Afghanistan for so many years now, before the Taliban takeover. But one of the references that our trainers usually make is also to the personalities who were Afghan, who were Muslim, and who worked in that field. But I will let Saeed and Maryam give us more current context about that question.
Thank you so much for the question. Hopefully, no, there's any problem with that. Talking about, like the great personalities of Afghanistan, especially the past ones. Doesn't matter whether they're like men or women. And of course, we use such personalities as modeling as an example in our topics. So yes, there is no any like problem with that. Sometimes when we give an example of them, it will help us to like pave a way for us in our sessions to talk more about the topics. So hopefully, no, there is no any like controversial side about this and any other problem with that.
Thank you. Well, if you have any other questions, I know we are running over time. If there are any other questions, you can just send me, Shagufa, or Ali an email, or if you'd like to talk to our trainers, we could connect you with them as well. We're happy to interact and answer any questions, or if you feel like you need a separate meeting for your questions to be answered, we're also happy to do that. Just write to us and we will make sure to organize something one-on-one to get to your questions. But for right now, Ali, would you like to share your slides and also do the draw for the tickets? Exciting.
So I know we've already covered this a little bit because some people did have the questions. So there are ways that you can support Sahar directly. Volunteering is one of them. If you are interested in volunteering, feel free to email me, or you can email Mitra as well. And we will be happy to get you signed up to volunteer. We can always use people to help us with different things, just depending on what's available. Most of it is virtual, although we do have some in-person events. And if you're willing to volunteer for those, that's great as well. We, of course, always can use donations because we fund the programs that we are doing with our partners. And I would say there's never enough to go around. So we can always use that as well. You can do that directly on our website, or you can always mail us a check as well. And the address is on our website. We also will encourage you to share about Sahar and our mission with your network. You can do that by following us on any social media platform, or by subscribing to our newsletter on our website, and then sharing it with the people who you are in contact with, because that will broaden our network. So if you see a post from us on Facebook or Instagram and you think, this is interesting, this is something that my friends might like, instead of just giving it a like, give it a share, because that will be really helpful to us to broaden our network and to bring us in front of the people that you know. And of course, if we have an event in the future and you see an invite to it, you can invite somebody to come join you at the event, which will bring one more person in to learn more about Sahar. And we do some matching campaigns from time to time, and coming up in April 8th through 12th, there will be a matching campaign with Global Giving. So during that time frame, there will be a 50% match on donations. So if you are wanting to donate but want us to get a little extra, look out for announcements about that. And thank you all for coming. The last thing that we have, well, wait, it looks like Sam raised her hand. Sam, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a just an idea for anybody here that's thinking. So I work in corporate America, and they do donations, different organizations, and they have donated to Women for Afghan Women before in the past. So I could always bring up with my HR team about this organization and see about donating to it as well.
Great, that would be amazing. That's definitely one of the ways that can be very helpful to us, because you're more likely to get corporate gifts if someone who works within the organization has recommended you. So even though we do try to solicit sponsorship from different corporations, if we have somebody coming and vouching for us, that will go a lot further than us just reaching out or filling out their forms. So that would be amazingly helpful. And the very last thing we're going to do here today is that if you signed up and registered for this event, your name was put on this drawing, and I'm going to spin this wheel. So everybody's name is here if they registered, whether they attended or not, because Registering is all it takes to be signed up. And I'm going to spin the wheel, and whomever wins gets 4 tickets to the Mariners. So it looks like our winner is Elizabeth C. I don't know if Elizabeth is physically here right now, but I will send her an email after this so that she'll know that she won and she can claim her tickets. So thank you all for joining us and for supporting Sahar just with your presence here and allowing us to take up some of your time on this Thursday evening.
Thank you.
Thank you all for staying longer, and thanks for being here again. This was for the women of Afghanistan, and you being here is a sign of your support to them more than us. So thank you.